I am going to jump right into the text that I'm basing this session on, and I'm going to share my screen for you to view them. And the way that these sessions work is I launch from just one line of Torah and then maybe a commentary, and then I spend most of the time giving you space to explore the text via your own body's movements. So I'll share this text now. I need to be able to share it, if that's okay. Oh, I dropped off. That's what happened. I'm back. Okay, good. Can you see it? Wait a sec. Yeah, you can see my screen, but here we go. All right. How's that? Good job. All right, so this whole movement session is based on the idea that we received Torah in the desert. And I'm just gonna get you guys up here. And the key text for the first part of the dance is this midrash that many of you may have seen before. And it is a commentary on Torah about why did we receive in the desert. And the Sefat Emet, a beautiful teacher of the 19th century from Poland, Rabbi Yehuda Aryeh Leib Alter, says that in the midrash, it says the reason the Torah was given in the desert is that those who don't make themselves like a desert do not merit Torah. And the idea is that we need to have gone through the desert and through the wilderness to have emptied from slave mentality and also to experience emptying in order to receive the wisdom of Torah. So that's one basis for the dance that we'll do tonight. And the second text is about mana. And I'll say more about these when we do the embodied work. But for the mana, in the text, when mana is introduced, mana is the food that we ate, the nourishment that we ate in the desert. And it's in the Torah that when the children of Israel saw it, that we said, manhu, vayomru ish el achiv, manhu, ki lo yadu mahu. So we're eating not knowing. And this idea of liminal space and not knowing is, of course, so relevant right now with the pandemic and all that we are going through. And this idea also of life transitions and when we are moving from one place to another, needing to be in that place of opening to not knowing is something I know I've experienced in my life. And there's just a text I brought from the Talmud here also that we need to not know, and that there's never an end to all the knowing that we might have in this world. So I invite you now, I can't see most of you, but I'm gonna invite you to either have your video on or off. It's completely your choice. And I'll guide us in some simple movements. And the most important point is please listen to yourself. The idea that I have for this time to spend moving our bodies a little bit is to drop into listening kinesthetically. And so if anything I offer is not right for your body, please do not do it. You are the authority. Some of you may have injuries. Some of you might feel like just sitting, and you can explore some of these movements while sitting also. So with that, I'm gonna share some music for you to begin with. So just a second. Okay, gonna move into that. So I invite you to go ahead and stand in, if you're comfortable standing, to stand in a place where you have a little bit of space to move your arms, and your stance is supporting you strong in your legs just underneath your hips. And I'm gonna just go ahead and start the music. So for the first very little bit, I'm going to invite you to begin to feel into just the solidity of your feet in contact with the earth or the ground wherever you're sitting. And if you're sitting, your sits bones in contact with the chair. little. So with your feet solid or your sits bone solid, take a moment and lengthen up the front of the spine. Lengthen up the spine all the way from sits bones or feet through to crown of head. And take your right hand by your side and lift the left arm and stretch. Just a little space in the armpit and the side waist and the ribs. And then take a stretch on the second side. The gentle reach. Really finding length up through from your waist, all the way up side body, through the arms, space between the ribs. And take that movement a couple times, just to one side, and then to the other. And just feeling the way the spine moves, the design of the vertebrae that allow this gentle movement. Yeah. Shifting your weight. I see a couple of you are standing. If you're standing, you can shift your weight from one side to the other. Yeah. And I invite you, if the movement even of the breath can support you, you can feel into that. So now we'll take this moment of just raising both arms overhead and inhaling the breath, really lengthening and reaching all the way up. You can be on your hip bones or your knees or your feet, and then exhale and soften the knees. Release the spine, rounding and releasing, and then inhale all the way up and finding more space in the body. Exhale, releasing down. And take this in your own timing. Reaching up and reaching down, releasing and softening. There's a teaching that the world was created with the bet for beracha, in softness. The world as a blessing and the world as softening. So finding that soft movement that can support you to feel a little space between the joints in the body. And let's go ahead and come back to standing or sitting and circle the joints. Circle the wrist joints one way and another. Yeah, I see some of you doing it. And then let's gently circle the shoulder joints. Again, standing or sitting, like a little backstroke. Really receiving the breath, nishmat chayim, the breath of life, and feeling that breath support you in your movement as your feet are solidly grounded, nitzavim, firmly planted feet as we stood at the mountain. Keep going with that, and then let's just take again any other upper body movements or stretches to the side, or the shoulders back or forward that are right for you as you're sitting. And if you are up for standing, we're gonna let the movement shift a little bit, and it'll be a little more invigorating for our mid-evening standing movement. So for this next little piece, we're gonna warm up the legs. So here we go. The joints of the hips are supporting you in this movement. So we're going to stand with feet wide and the knees bent. And let's just shift the weight back and forth a little. Maybe a little swaying. Noting the spread of the base of toes and the heels supporting you. The lift of energy through the arches of the feet. And take a little swing, a gentle swing and opening, swaying, warming your feet, maybe walking around space wherever you are. And I invite you to just take a moment and move your body in that way. Maybe change direction, face another wall, just moving and feeling hips connected to feet. Yesod and Malchut, the Sefirot in the body, moving up through the heart to head for a minute or two. And now, if is your body a little warmed up? I see some of you standing. You feel a little warmth in your body, your hips, your feet, your ankles. From here, what you can do now is the next song as it comes is a little more light and a little more up. And I invite you to go into the place of not knowing with the music and dance and just play and have fun with receiving the music as an inspiration for your dance. Just have fun and release what you don't need.
Yeah. Here we go again, creation. Clap now for the jubilation. Look at all that light you making. Send it out, no reservation. Like a river, we let it flow. Still hot like a volcano. Mother Earth still got my soul in the hot, in the cold, in the rain, in the snow. Halo, wish on a butterfly wing. Take that crown, put it on that king. Sing like a child, no care for.
Just let go of everything you think you know about dance and movement and play. And just have fun. Let go of anything that's limiting you, anything that's holding you and keeping you tight. You can receive the wisdom you want to receive tonight.
I won't give up on you. I won't give up on you. Between the moon and sun, this life is never done. I won't give up on you. I won't give up on you. I won't give up on you. Yeah. Set up, set up, set up, set up my love. I won't give up on you. I stand up, gap on my hands up, root down strong like Mount Akea. In the ocean, holy motion, ride that flow. I see you later. In the park of Shangri-La, I see mama, she's standing holy. All those colors filled with glory. Open up and hear the story. Oh, and this love still hold true. Now what you gonna do? I won't give up on you. I won't give up on you. Between the moon and sun, this life is never done. I won't give up on you. I won't give up on you. This love still hold true. Now what you gonna do? I won't give up on you. I won't give up on you. Between the moon and sun, this life is never done. I won't give up on you. I won't give up on you.
Notice if in your dance you find a new movement, something you enjoy, and repeat it if you do. Something simple. If you're sitting, you can even feel just sitting still, the expansion of the belly on the inhale and the settling on the exhale. Just drop into kinesthetic sensing. So this next song is my friend Miriam. It's Sefat Emet. I lift my eyes to the mountain. Sefat Emet, I lift my eyes to the mountain. And that's where my help comes from. My friend Miriam is singing this beautiful version of this song. And I invite you, if you want to rest on the floor or take a little rest in any posture, just go for it. And as the music continues, just find something new in your expression.
I lift my eyes to the mountains. Where will my help come from? I lift my eyes to the mountains. Where will my help come from?
So if you've been moving, I invite you to come into a little stillness. And for this last song, this last idea, I want to offer the idea of the Aleph, and the first word of the 10 Commandments as Anochi. And there are deep teachings about what we heard, what we saw, that we saw the sounds and we heard the sights. And I invite you to keep opening the body and opening your being, your nefesh, your soul body, to whatever it is that is coming to you for your Torah this evening. And we each heard our own Torah is one idea that is brought, that we each heard our own Torah. So I invite you to listen to this next song, and if you have a journal, you can write down any gleanings, any ideas that you are bringing. So I'm going to play this song, and you can keep moving, or you can rest, or you can take in this idea. You can continue with feeling, just swaying. It's some beautiful music to support us to find our wisdom from another way. So here it is. And this will be our last song, and then we'll close. You're still moving. You can bring your movement to closure. And I don't know if you have journals or writing implements for those of you who are writing on the holiday, but if you are, I invite you to write or consider 4 words: mind, body, heart, spirit. And write a word for each one of how you're feeling right now: mind, body, heart, spirit. These are the 4 worlds in Jewish mysticism. Or capture any phrases, ideas, words, images that came to you from the dance. Or sit and just breathe for a few moments. Sometimes our bodies hold wisdom, hold memories, hold information that we can't access by just thinking. So I just invite you to drop in a little bit and notice if there's pain, if there's discomfort, if there are emotions. Sometimes when we move our bodies, we release some things. So just note and take a moment to hold what's happening, what you discover. And now the last idea I want to ask is if you have any thoughts on emptying and the body. And if you do, emptying and why we received the Torah and desert, you can chat them and we'll speak them out. If you're comfortable sharing them in the chat, they come to me. You can send them to me, Julie Emden, in the chat if you're comfortable. Anything you discovered or know now that's different from moving your body, feeling Torah in your body. Look at a different wall. This is a challenge of life lived through the perspective of Torah. Revelation. Feel like moving my body for spiritual reasons is now the same movements as for other reasons, which makes me feel very comfortable and happy about it. Yeah, so just sharing a few. I hadn't felt my vertebrae open up when breathing before. Yeah, there's a lot of movement that can happen. Just breathing. So this playlist I just played, it's a shortened version and it's on Spotify. If you want to find it, there was a question about the playlist. I'm Julie Emden Embodied on Spotify. So you can just find my name and find the playlist. It's called Shavuot 2020. And Julie already mentioned, I have all kinds of offerings on my website, all kinds of online. Thank you, Julie. There we go. That's the Spotify playlist. And so great to be with you. Have a great rest of your evening.